Faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. This quote by Martin Luther King Jr. reminded me of a time when my family and I moved to Ohio. It was a huge leap of faith, but we took that first step, and we're climbing an amazing staircase of life. Now, it's because of that I believe that when you begin to walk by faith and trust in what God has planned for your life, that you will always, and I mean always, walk in victory. Now, I would like you to view a movie that I have recently seen. It's a little bit older movie, but it's called Facing the Giants. Today, I want to talk to you about that movie, and I hope that you'll go see it. Now, today I would like to speak to you about how one man's determination and faith in God directed an entire football team towards God. What drove this man to conquer his fear and lead a football team while balancing his family life, and why faith will lead us all into victory. So let's begin. Number 1, how one man's determination and faith in God directed an entire football team towards God. Well, Merriam-Webster.com says that faith is the strong belief or trust in someone or something. Merriam-Webster.com also says that victory is the achievement or of mastery or success in a struggle or endeavor against odds of great difficulty. Wow, such an amazing definition there. Now, trust is a big part of this inspirational movie, Facing the Giants, because the main character, Grant Taylor, is found stuck dealing with his wife's fertility problems and parents trying to get him fired from coaching. Now, Grant Taylor coaches a high school football team called the Shiloh Eagles, but unfortunately, they had never won a successful season in over 6 years that he had been coaching there. Now, Grant Taylor made it his mission in this movie to inspire and encourage his team, build them up, and by using faith in order to conquer their fears and overcome an opposing team, by putting their faith and their trust in God. Now, within this movie, the boys are challenged both physically, mentally, and emotionally as they fight for a chance to win the championship, which was such an unthinkable task beforehand. So this brings me to point number 2. What drove Grant Taylor to conquer his fear and lead a football team while balancing his family life? Well, once the reality that he could lose his job sunk in, he opened his eyes to see that, he had too many problems to handle. He needed to put all of those problems into God's hands and let him work it out so that he could continue to walk in faith. Now, one pivotal moment was when the players' parents and a lot of the staff at the high school were trying to force the school to actually replace Grant Taylor from coaching the team. I mean, it may have seemed very important at the time to them, but to him, it was stabbing him in the back. All of his friends and his buddies, the people that he worked with, the people that he knew, were trying to get him fired. Now, Grant realized that he needed to make a change because what they were doing, it wasn't working, obviously. 6 years without a winning season. Well, this led him to make the decision to get the team on the same page so that they would believe in themselves as well as in God. They all knew that they would never make it to the championship by themselves. And throughout the movie, we see that, and we realize that they had to hinge upon what God had in store for them. That it was only through Him that they could do what they were going to do. And it was only with God that all things are possible. And they held very closely to that throughout this movie. Now this brings me to point number 3. Why faith will lead us all into victory. Now, because Grant put his faith in God instead of his own team, or his team's own ability, things in life finally started to turn around. Grant's faith started to build throughout this movie as he decided to praise God. And no matter what happens, his car broke down, his team hasn't won in a championship in over 6 years, he finds out that, he's the reason that his wife Brooke can't have a child. All of those things coming together finally started to take a toll on him. But he made it through it. He fought through it. And through it all, he also encouraged his team to give everything that they have and to put forth their entire effort and believe that they can win with God's provision because He will always provide. And they thank Him for the things that He did throughout the movie. Now, Grant Taylor is such a relatable example of all the struggles that we all face because if he can use his faith in God to make it through all of that stuff, then we can surely make it through whatever we're facing. At least we weren't facing the Giants. This movie was called Facing the Giants, which makes that kind of ironic. Now, I tell you whether they win or lose, I can't do that. But I really hope that you learn a very valuable lesson, because this movie will motivate you to have faith in God and that He will provide in every single situation, and that He'll stir your heart so that you can learn to walk in victory. So finally today, you have heard about a couple of things. How one man's determination and faith in God directed an entire football team towards God. What drove this man to conquer his fear and lead a football team while balancing his family life? And of course, why faith will lead us all into victory. You can have victory. So I strongly encourage you to go watch this movie, Facing the Giants, so that you can find out how to always walk in victory, no matter what you're going through. And if you don't remember anything else, please remember this, that faith is taking the first step. You got to take the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. So I encourage you to take that first step and go watch Facing the Giants. Thank you so much for watching.